Hi guys, this is George back here with another video and welcome to another episode here in Enchanted Land in Planet Coaster, where as you can see today I'm going to be building a wooden bobsleigh coaster. So this is a kind of last minute addition to the park. I knew I wanted to build one, however then the game started to get a bit laggy and I was thinking that there might not be kind of enough time to do it, and before it started getting too laggy. However, then I decided if I make some changes in other parts of the park, then I can build one, because I did always want to build one in this park. However, I just didn't know if there'd be enough space, if it would start getting too laggy, but luckily it was all right. It is getting laggy, however, I did decide I really wanted one of these, so I just dealt with the lag and carried on building it. And you can see here that I spent quite a while working on this layout. Yeah, so I wanted it to be a bit like the one at Knoebels. Of course, the one at Knoebels is the only one operating. It's a much more modern version of an old classic wooden bobsleigh. You've not got any of the vintage ones around anymore. However, you have got that modern take on one. It's designed to feel and look like an old one, but obviously it only opened in 2013, I believe it was. So yeah, you can see here, because I'm trying to fit it into quite a small plot of land, it was quite difficult to get the layout right. And I've built a few of these before off camera. They lose their speed quickly, so I knew I was going to have to build a short ride here, and it is a short ride. However, by the time it gets to the final brake run, it does still have quite a lot of speed. Unfortunately, I didn't realise that until after I had done all of the terrain work, so therefore it was very difficult to extend the layout. If I'd realised that before I did the terrain work, I would have extended the layout. However, unfortunately, I realised too late. And if you guys have played Planet Coaster, building the terrain and then the coaster around the terrain can be very difficult. And you can see here I'm working very close to the park boundary as well. So that was another thing that made it a bit more challenging. But you can see I try a few different things with this ride, lots of trial and error with this ride until I finally found the best solution for this ride. So you can see here that it's getting very close to the station. This was one of the problems I had building this ride, because the track pieces were too big to go back round into the station, and you're about to see that going in now. So I end up having to change it. So yeah, you can see I'm trying to auto complete it, but it just takes up too much space, and I'm worried that after it goes through the brakes, it's not going to have enough speed to get all the way around that corner. So I end up going back and trying to build it a bit further away from the station so it can loop back round. And this was okay for a while. However, then I decided to go back and make some more changes because I wanted to make the ride a bit longer. And I tried to add in an upwards helix. However, as you're about to find out, it didn't have enough speed to make it up to the top. So therefore I had to get rid of that. Here we go. You can see this is a point where I'm just watching it go around, making sure it's the right speed. It ends up looking a lot faster when you're on it, when you're showing a POV, than it does off ride. Yeah, it does have quite a lot of speed when it gets to the final brakes, but as you can see there, it just rolls back and it doesn't make it up to the top. So then I decided, you know what, let's do a downwards helix. So I started trying to build underground. However, there were problems with this as well. As you're about to find out, it ended up taking up a lot of space, which I didn't really have. I didn't want to build it too close to the park entrance. And as you're about to see, if I wanted to build it underground, it ended up, by the time it gets back up to ground level again and into the brakes, it's too close to the park entrance. As well as that, I was worried it wasn't going to have enough speed to make it back up that hill into the brakes, or that incline into the brakes. So you'll see there that it's just coming up there. So it's too high off the ground there. That was one problem I had with it. And then it was also too close to the park entrance. And I wanted to make sure there was a decent amount of space there, because there is going to be a bit of theming around this ride that I don't want you to see from the park entrance. So I'll talk more about that once I start doing it. So there's a lot of terrain work around this ride, and also some light theming and a bit of a storyline. Not an in-depth story, however, a little bit of a storyline. You've got to imagine with this is an older ride and the theming was added in at a later date. So yeah, there you go. You can just see me making sure it makes it the brake run there. And now I'm going back and smoothing some of the turns. I do go back off camera and make a couple of changes to the profiling. Nothing that's really noticeable. However, I do make a couple of changes, very small changes. There we go. You can see that going in just there. Yeah, that was a section that was really annoying me because there's barely any banking and you end up swinging up really high on the side. And there we go. That's all the layout done now. And then there we go. You can see I'm going and customizing it now. So I wanted it to be a bit more of a darker brown than it already was. Kind of like what Flying Turns is. However, that's the closest I could get to brown. It is still a bit red, however. It's not too bad, and you can see I'm now moving it a bit further away from those trees there because of course I knew I was going to be doing some terrain work. The trees are getting removed here now, as you can see, and there's going to be a pathway here. So the theming with this ride, so I'm about to start putting in the station, and there's a couple of buildings around this ride as well. I do add in a few buildings off camera, one around here and then some others kind of scattered around the park. Basically some more food stands and staff buildings and things like that. So you'll see them in the next episode. But the idea with this ride is it's got a bit of a Western theme to it, and the idea is that you're in the Western times, and that an invention has been made. As you can see, the trains look like planes. That's not something I can do. That's just how it comes in the game. So I wanted to incorporate that into the story. So it's got a bit of a Western theme, and the idea is this is a new invention, a flying invention, and this is a flying school, and you're being taught how to fly this new plane invention thing. That's the idea with this ride. Little bit of a story to it, however, nothing too in depth. And as you can see, the station is going in now. So yeah, lots of work just going around there. And you'll see a little bit of theming going in shortly. Not loads of theming, of course, this is still an amusement park. Yeah, you'll see I start working on the queue line and exit soon as well, and then all of the terrain after that. And there we go, we've got some doors going on there and some windows. Just some more details being added to the building. And you'll see some wooden beams coming in shortly as well, and these lights as well that are going up. There we go, I end up going for those lights. Originally I wanted to choose those ones, and then I thought actually it might not work with the theme, but then I thought actually they do look quite good. There we go, yeah, just separating off where all of the windows are, except in the section where the door was, because I thought it might look a bit too cluttered if there was one separating door and the windows there, and it might look a bit uneven as well. There we go, you can see me using some of the Western theming items here around the ride. You've got some rope going up there, and you'll see some barrels going in and some different kind of boxes. Imagine if this is maybe supplies that we use to make the aeroplane, or maybe some items you'll need while being taught how to fly it. Of course, this is, as I said, this is a flying school. There we go. I was doing a bit of work with the exit there, but basically I couldn't have it directly in the center, which is what I was trying to do. It wouldn't let me, so I thought, I guess it's no big deal. And there we go. You can see the queue and the exit going in just there. Oh, got a bit of lag there. There we go. There's the exit going in. And then here's a staff building going in just here as well. We're going with the same building style as the station. Yeah, I was trying to move the staff building here because it was a bit in the way and I wanted to move the walls a bit closer into the building so it wasn't sticking off the roof like that. There we go, we've got a couple of windows going in there. So yeah, it's a very similar looking building to the station. There we go, there's one of the buildings I ended up putting in off camera. And we've got some trees going in just here as well. And there's an entrance sign as well. So with this ride, when you put it in Planet Coaster, of course the rides come up with a name already in there based on what they are. This one was like Ace's Sky, I think. I decided, you know what, I quite like the sound of that, but I'm going to change it up slightly. So basically I moved the words around. So instead of being called Ace's Sky, I've decided to call it Sky Ace, which I thought sounded quite good with the kind of plain flying school theme to it. And you can see now that I'm working on the terrain. So yeah, it's a very terrain-based ride. Lots of tunnels around. There's not really a point where it's high off the ground because the terrain kind of follows it round. So yeah, this is why I needed to move it further away from those trees earlier on. You can see that the terrain now is getting very close. If I didn't move it, it would have been right in the way. There you go, there's one of the tunnels going in. And there's a couple more around here as well. Yeah, it's quite difficult to tell what the layout is by the time all the terrain work's done because it just weaves in and out of the mountain. There we go, just roughening it out a little bit there, making it look a bit more realistic. And then just painting over it just there. More trees going in. Of course, just blocking it from the view of the park entrance there. I don't want you to see this classic old school vintage park entrance that would have been built a very long time ago next to a Western themed ride. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that you couldn't see that from the park entrance. And then here's some trees going up on the mountain there. Not loads of trees on the mountain, however, I did add a few in. There we go. So there's some trees on the mountain and some more down there by the exit. And then some more theming going in just there. Here we go. You can see a POV now, all sped up, of course. In the last episode of the series, I will show a real speed POV of this. There we go. You can see me changing the name there, and then putting a sign up on the entrance for it as well. And here we go. You can see me turning it to night now and doing some lighting around the area. And that is pretty much the end of this episode. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at George Kelly and follow me on Twitter at George Kelly. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll see you all later. Bye.